Namaste. Welcome, everyone. It's been wonderful to see all of your faces popping up on the screen here. There's so many familiar, some people are new. And it's my first time with so many people on the Zoom format. So entering into a new landscape for sure. And it's wonderful to see so many people responding to this topic of peace in these times, these shifting times. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Swami Satyananda, and thank you, Jacob, for the wonderful welcome. And I'm joining you from the shores of Kootenay Lake today, which is in southeastern British Columbia. And we at the ashram wish to acknowledge the Akinuki, the Tunaha, and the Sanai, the First Nations peoples, on whose unceded territory we are caretakers and guests. And I'd also like to acknowledge our longtime relationship with Banyen Books, which began, I think, in the 1960s. So we're very, very grateful for this invitation to be with you today. And so I wanted to begin with a gesture that's very familiar in the world. And it's one that Swami Radha encouraged us to do often at the ashram. And the gesture is Namaste. And it's one that has come to me as I've been preparing for our time together today. It's one that I feel is particularly meaningful in today's world because it is an acknowledgement of our own inner light, divinity, however you would express that for yourself, our own essence. And it's acknowledging that divinity and that oneness that we have with others and recognizing that. So it goes past outer appearances, differences, anything that causes separation, and really is the essence of what yoga is about. So if we could all bring our hands to our hearts and connect. You can close your eyes if you'd like to connect with that inner essence, that spark of light within yourself. And then opening your eyes and seeing wherever you are from that place of light, of inner light. Namaste. So in our time together this morning, I'm going to give a short introduction to Swami Radha and the lineage of teachings that are at the ashram. And then we're going to move into a time of exploring what peace means to you, to each of us, and bring forward that experience, those experiences that we've had of peace in our lives, because then that becomes the resource that we have to draw on and bring forward in all the practices that life gives us a chance to practice. And so beginning with Swami Radha, and Jacob is going to be showing some images that go along with what I'm saying about the history of the ashram. And so she first went to India in 1955. And she was following a visionary experience that she had of Swami Shivananda. And when she was in India, she really watched him and observed and used her critical mind to see what was he doing. And she saw that he was putting the teachings into action. She called him a man of action. And this awakened a great love in her and a desire to serve and give back. So Swami Radha was initiated into sannyas and given the name Radha, which means cosmic love. And Shivananda told her that all will come to her like bees wanting to drink the honey. And he asked her to return to North America and update the yogic teachings for the Western world. And so she devoted the rest of her life to this. Through her books, she wrote many, many books, and she traveled, and she developed courses that are at the ashram, and she established the ashram, which is what he asked her to do. So when she first came back to North America, she started an ashram in Burnaby. And there's a picture of her sitting on the steps of this ashram in her orange robe. So you can imagine in the 1950s, this was kind of an unusual sight to see a woman in orange robes, a sannyasi. And so she lived in this ashram, which was in a house with a group of young men, and gave classes and satsangs. And during this time, she remembered some words of Swami Shivananda's, where he said that the ashram would be surrounded by mountains, waters, and forests. And so she was reflecting about this. She prayed and for some signs, and she received what she felt were some signs. So she headed off into the interior of British Columbia to look for location for the new ashram. And so the ashram moved to its current location in 1963. So we've been here for a long time. And over the years, many people from around the world have come. And they're searching, people are searching for something, stepping out of their lives to have the time and space to learn about the practice of yoga. And so I thought these images, like especially during a time that the ashram is closed right now, I wanted to be able to bring a sense of the beauty and the peace, and that also this is a community. So we constantly have a practice place to be able to really bring our ideals forward in our lives. And so there are some other images of the ashram where you can see that some of these are going to be familiar to you, doing the asanas, and there's the reflection part of it. And space, beautiful spaces to be able to just sit, be peaceful, and karma yoga, which is the essence, the core practice of what we're doing here. And as I mentioned, the chance to be able to bring our ideals forward, to really work with it. So what does it mean to respond from a place of peace? And every aspect of what we're doing, from the food, the land, everything, the appreciation, what we value. I've been practicing, wouldn't have called it organic gardening back then, but for a long, long time, right from the very beginning. And of course, we get to be the beneficiaries of, and all the guests who come here, for this beautiful, beautiful food and place. And so there's a temple which is located on the ashram. And this design of the temple came from a place of vision for Swami Radha. She started having it come in dreams when she was a teenager. And you can see that there's many doors. We can't see them all, but there's many doors entering this space. And it symbolizes entering in from any walk of life, any tradition, coming in and meeting in the center. So I was standing in that place this morning before our time together. And it really is, it speaks to me of that place of oneness. And you can see the opening in the center of the temple for the light to come through. It's a very, very peaceful place. So we're living in shifting times, and our world's constantly changing. There's waves of change. What's being asked of us now? Yoga is now the very first sutra of Patanjali. So it starts now. What is this time about? What does it mean for us, our families, communities, world? How do we want to be? How do we want to act? How do we want to move in the world? And how do we bring what comes from our practices forward so that we're not thrown off? Or if we are, we know how to come back to that place, that core place that's within us. And so these little crocuses symbolize potential. And you have your own images for this. But I thought this was quite beautiful of what happens, that life force that continues, and symbolizing change that's always happening and that potential for growth, and bringing forward what we know and acting on this. And so our starting place is our inner world, because that's the place where peace begins. I'm going to read a few words from Swami Radha, who was the successor to Swami Radha. And this is from her book, Living the Practice. How do we maintain a position of steadiness? When we look outward at situations of the world, we often feel that we have no control, no ability to affect change. But we can go back to changing our world within, where we do have the ability to change. We can change how we use our intellect and emotions so that we're not swept up by outside forces. When we harness the emotions and intellect, we can gather facts and mobilize ourselves to actions rather than getting stuck in reactions. We can sit in silence, listening to our intuition, in stillness, facing what is before us, and in reflection, thinking deeply. So for me personally, peace has become a motivating force in my life. And I've seen it grow within me and in my relationships. And I was thinking about it this morning, how much peace has come into my past as well. So bringing myself and my ideals into now. It's ongoing work and something that it has to be worked at consciously. So we're going to begin with some reflections on peace. And so bring yourself into a position where you feel that your spine is in alignment. And we're going to be chanting Om. So each of you will hear me chanting, and you can chant along. And chant in your own pace. So whatever your breathing pattern is. And we'll chant for a few moments, and then I'll guide you with a reflection. So closing your eyes, feeling a sense of relaxation in your body and your mind. And inhaling, and we'll begin chanting. Om. Sitting quietly, and bring the word peace to mind. What does it mean to you? What does it look like, feel like, sound like? Whatever your experience is. And then opening your eyes and take a few moments to write down keywords, phrases, whatever's coming. What does peace mean to you? And take just a few more moments with this. And then complete your writing for now. And we're going to go into a mountain pose, which is simply, if this is new for you, a standing pose. So you can be close enough either that I can see you, or you can stand close enough that you can hear me. I'm going to guide you through just a few. Whoops, I have to sit. Okay, so begin with just doing a few shoulder rolls. Feeling that relaxation going one direction, then you can roll your shoulders in the opposite direction. Feel the relaxation. And then we'll do a few neck stretches while you're standing. So bringing your chin towards your chest, stretching the back of the neck, and then slowly and with awareness, begin bringing your chin up towards the ceiling, gently stretching the back of the neck, the front of the neck, the throat. And then coming back to center, turning and looking over one shoulder, And turn and look over the opposite shoulder. And then back to center. And let's do one more. So bring your left ear towards your left shoulder, gently stretching the right side of the neck. And then up and over. So giving yourself, your body, messages to relax. Back to center. And coming into Tadasana, the mountain pose, the standing pose. Feeling into your foundation, your feet firmly on the ground, and feel that strength come up into your legs, through your torso. Bring your shoulders up and back and down so you have that sense of opening in your chest, your arms alongside your body, your hands relaxed, tucking your chin slightly, your eyes looking gently ahead, in front of you. And standing still, standing in this place of stillness. Asking yourself, where am I physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? And in this place of stillness, bring to mind one experience you've had of peace in your life. It might be from today, another time in your life. What is one experience of peace you've had in your life? And then take some time to make note of whatever's coming. So you can write, take some time to write for yourself. So just take another couple moments to finish with your writing. And you're going to have the chance now to share whatever part that you would like of your reflections. We're going to set you up with a partner. You'll go into a little breakout group, and you can share whatever is coming from about peace from your reflections. If you want to share the example of it, that's fine to go ahead. So if you're new to one another too, you can say who you are. And you only have 7 minutes, so make sure that you both have a chance to share. If it turns out that there's more, I see that there's a couple of people on one computer in some places. You can just sort it out with whoever you get teamed up with in your little breakout group. Just make sure you all have enough time to say something. Okay, we'll see you back here in 7 minutes. So bringing forward your experience of peace and having a chance to say the words out loud and hear yourself and hear experiences of others. So we're bringing that forward and moving now into exploring what is shifting. We see it hugely in the world. So much change happening. So exploring where this is happening in your life. And as we know from our practice of yoga, it really is coming back to what is the outer reflecting on the inner. And that's the place that we have the power to make the changes. And that is what's going to ripple out into the world. So I'm going to guide you through, again, a few practices, very simple practices. I think this morning, a big part of the purpose is reminding you of what you know. And that change, that shift, it's another meaning, the opposite meaning of shifting times, or part of that is we can shift and change at any moment. And these practices are powerful for helping us with that. So tensing and relaxing is a powerful way of being able to bring that awareness in the body. If we're caught too much up in our heads and feeling anxious or whatever. So simply bringing that awareness, where is tension happening in my body? Where is relaxation? And so I'm going to guide you through a very short tensing, relaxing exercise. So bring your attention to your feet and spreading your toes wide, bringing tension into your feet, and allow that tension to come up into the calf muscles, the thigh muscles, up your legs, into the buttocks and abdomen. Holding that tension, and then relax. Relax your feet, your legs, buttocks, abdomen. Really feel the wave of relaxation. Bring your awareness to your hands, spreading your fingers wide, feeling that tension in your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your neck. Hold and relax. Hands, arms, shoulders, neck. And now bring your awareness to your breath. Observe how you're breathing. What happens when you bring your awareness to your breath? You find yourself relaxing now into the rhythm of your breath. So inhaling to the count of 3 or 4 and exhaling to the count of 3 or 4. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Feel yourself relaxed in the rhythm of your breath, balancing the breath. And now bring to mind one example from your life right now where there is change happening, a feeling of things shifting. It could be in work, ways of moving in the world, relationships, whatever comes to mind. And opening your eyes and take some time to write about whatever's coming. And take a few more moments. You can write down anything to come back to afterwards. These reflections are a way to tap into whatever's coming forward for you now. We're going to go back to focusing on the breath and bringing in light. And I'm going to read a few words of Swami Radhananda's from her book, Living the Practice. And she's the successor to Swami Radha. And she says, light is such a subtle, intangible substance. It is an image used to describe the indescribable essence of who we are. It is also a universal symbol representing a greater divine power. It is a source both within us and outside of us. So closing your eyes, connecting with your breath again, bring it into that place of an even inhalation and exhalation. And now as you breathe in, as you inhale, bring in light. Have that sense of bringing in light on the inhalation. And as you exhale, imagine every cell of your body absorbing light. Continue in your own rhythm, inhaling light. As you exhale, every cell absorbing the light. And then sitting quietly, your breath in its natural rhythm, sitting in a place of inner quiet and peace. And bring to mind the place you're exploring where there's something in your life that's changing or shifting. What would it mean to bring a sense of peace or steadiness into this situation? What would it mean to bring peace into this changing place? And again, take some time to write about whatever's coming. Going to go once more into breakout groups. And again, you can share any part of the reflections that you've just been doing and share that with whoever comes up in your little breakout group. And you have, again, about 7 minutes. Namaste. Well, I don't know about you, but I am feeling even more peaceful than when I began. So it's a lot of it. I was just saying with my partner, Luann, a lot of this is reminding ourselves what we know. And really, that shift can happen in a moment. And life is bringing us our place of practice. This is it. And it's happening around the world. And so I have one more practice, and it's going back into Tadasana. So you can bring yourself into that standing mountain pose again. Or you can visualize yourself in the mountain pose. So again, bringing that awareness to your foundation, your feet solidly in contact with your foundation, knowing where you stand, taking a stand for peace, and feel that in your body. Feel that knowing what you stand for. What is a step towards peace that you can take in your life now? One step towards peace that you can take in your life now. And then returning to where you're seated and make note of what that is. Your step towards peace. Just take a few more moments with this. And our lineage of teachings is the Saraswati order. And Saraswati is the goddess of creativity, of learning, of wisdom. And so, right now, you're going to have a few moments to connect with that creative part of yourself and to create a movement or a little drawing, or it could be an asana, a simple one that we'll be able to see, that comes to mind that has to do with peace. So take a deep breath and take a few moments to go to that part of yourself that it can express in a little drawing or a movement that comes to mind, or an asana, simple asana that symbolizes peace. Okay. So whatever you have, and if you're in gallery view, you're not going to see everybody involved because there's many, many people, but hopefully you'll see enough on your screen. And if not, you'll just see yourself and me. So I'm going to say, I'll say Om, and when I say Om, everybody can show us in whatever way it's come to you, your movement, your drawing, your asana, for peace. Om. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste. So we're coming to the end of our time together. It's been very joyful for me. And there's just a few things I want to say as ways to keep connected. Because as I mentioned earlier, this is a time when the ashram is closed, but we're really coming forward in this virtual world, which is something that we've wanted to do for a long time. And so this has been a time of potential to do that. And so the books you will have seen on your registration on the Banyen site that there are many, many resources and books connected for you to draw on. And I'll say from my own experience that they are sources of wisdom that I continually go back to. And one of them is the Radha Diary of a Woman's Search. And that's about Swami Radha's time in India with Swami Shivananda. And also she's written many books, Swami Radhananda, Swami Lalitananda, and so Banyen Books carries those. There's also online classes that you can keep track of if on our website. And Jacob will be showing at the very end a slide that has the ashram website. And also you can put in your chat box if you're interested in being connected through the ashram newsletter. You can put your email and express your interest there. And any questions that you have from today's session or follow-up, please include in the chat box and we'll get back to you. There's also online satsangs that we've been doing, virtual satsangs every Sunday. And so you can tune into those. And they're coming from our Temple of Light and also our, what we call our elastic band, because it expands and contracts. And we're singing bhajans. There's also one video that is a wonderful video that it'll be on that last slide. The name of it is called The Ripple Effect, and it's Corazon, Corazon. And it was recorded at the ashram in 2018, and it's so beautiful. It's a combination of Nelson's Corazon Youth Choir and the University of Western Ontario. They created a choral installation piece for the ashram grounds. And it's 6 minutes. It'll give you a sense of being here. It was filmed at this time of the year, so you'll see the glory of the blossoms and you will feel that you're here and peaceful from it as well. So I'm going to guide you through a very short visualization on the light rippling out into the world. And this again comes from Living the Practice. It's from Swami Radhananda. So you can come into a comfortable seated position. Connecting with your breath, closing your eyes, listening to the words. In your mind's eye, focus on a brilliant dot of white light. Let this spark of light flood your mind, filling you entirely. And seeing this light rippling out to those you are close to. See it filling the place you're in. And see the light spreading out into the community. Wherever you are. See it rippling out into the country, the continent, and to the whole world. See everyone and everything in the light. And then begin to draw the light back into the space between your eyebrows. Sitting quietly in that place of peace and light. Namaste. Thank you to everyone for joining us today. And you'll see on your screens now the temple. And we send you all light, peace, and joy from Yashodhara Ashram. Namaste.